This is a good show.
This is gold. This is gold.
This is gold, Jim.
Welcome to Four Brewers. My name is John Holzer, and as always, I'm joined by
Jason Harris.
Hey, Greg Nagel.
And we're here once again with Jesse Friedman from
The
FAVA,
one true Friedman.
formerly of Almanac Beer Company.
Friedman.
That was a great intro, guys. Thank you.
Jesse, want me to start it again?
Jesse Friedman.
No, I like the way you do it.
Okay. And we're also here with Kyle Wales. Kyle from the chat.
Howdy.
Woo! What's up, Kyle?
There be whales here.
Out of the chat and into our pod.
Meme maker extraordinaire for Four Brewers in the Discord chat.
Get out.
He's made some memes in his day.
And turns out Kyle is also a home brewer, and he brought us some tasty home brew. And we
He
also
brews
have
memes.
a beer from, not a beer, it's a braggot, actually.
We got a braggot.
From, what was his name again?
Adam Crum.
Adam Crum, yeah. He was in
Or
the
Crum,
area.
I don't know.
I don't think he lives in California.
Santa Clarita, somewhere around
Oh,
there.
okay.
Yeah.
So he was just in SoCal for...
Yeah, he
like
was. He
vacation or
took his
something.
fam to Disneyland, and he left Disneyland with his wife and his kid to bring me
That's
this
awesome.
braggot.
Wow. That's
I
cool.
was like, thanks, Brad.
I don't
Well-
approve of his life choices now at all.
Should we start with that beer since we're talking about it? Or
Yeah, I'll
is
open
it,
a
is it
braggot.
beer,
I
technically?
feel like braggot is a word that Beetlejuice would say. Like, just like...
Braggot,
"Oh, you guys
braggot,
braggot.
braggot.
You guys want some of the braggot? You guys want some braggot? You got some nice country braggot for you? Oh, come on, come on.
All right, so what is the definition of a braggot?
It's a honey-based fermentation with some barley in there.
It's when you start making a beer, and then you
It's a
feel the
beer
need
to boost it.
for mead.
I think you're making a mead and you add barley,
It's a
right?
mixed medium,
Mixed,
You know, 6 and 1, half dozen of the
mixed
other.
martial arts.
mixed martial arts beer, ish, with some honey in there.
Got some
Pretty
ground,
dark color.
some ground and pound.
And normally, I've had some brackets in my day. I'm always looking for this I want to say like leathery, tobacco-y banana bread. And I think
Is
that
this spiced? Tastes like maybe?
So,
don't know.
according to Beer Advocate, this is what they say about braggot. With references dating into the 12th century, braggot was historically made by blending spices and herbs with mead and beer. So then go on more into its history, but that's basically what it is.
And I think this is won some awards, I think is what he mentioned to me as well. So it's like he's pretty proud of this, and he's made it a few times, and this is like one of his better recipes.
This does smell good.
I smell baking spices.
Yeah. I think it's well integrated, though. I don't think it's like well out of the norm of...
Yeah, baking spice is a good... It's almost like kind of gingerbready,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, a little cinnamon, ginger, real warming.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's got kind of a amber ale kind of color to
Yeah.
it.
brown
ale.
brown sugar on there, a little molasses.
The bottle had a decent amount of head inside, too, when you opened it. Like, it was...
I wouldn't be surprised if there was molasses in this. That's exactly what it tastes like to
There
me.
is kind
A
of
little
a
burnt sugar.
banana bready nose to it.
Yeah.
banana bread, that's another one, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good.
This is great. It's really nice. This would be really nice, like with actually like gingerbread and a scoop of ice cream for dessert or something like that. With
Yeah.
this, like real autumnal kind of flavor set.
And it's coming off like gingerbread, too, like on the flavor. Like, it's pretty dry, too. I thought it would be pretty dry because it's like honey is, I guess...
Honey's
pretty
really
highly
it's
fermentable.
super fermentable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I expected... I mean, mead itself is usually pretty dry. It's usually less than 0 when it finishes fermenting.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Some people that make mead are like,
Unless you back sweeten it.
so sweet. Yeah.
Real prickly carbonation too.
Yeah, this is nice.
Yeah.
I don't know
like
if I assume it's hopped to kind of balance out the sweetness, but it's not hop forward. Comes off more like a Belgian quad or something like that.
It does, yeah. Like a...
Belgian.
I drink a lot of homebrew. People, when you brew, people will bring you homebrew and
How's
stuff.
that?
And I always my feeling, and I always tell everyone, including Kyle, that I'm always happy to taste homebrew. I just have a terrible poker face and I'm a bad liar.
Yeah.
So I tell people, I'm always like, I can't promise I will be nice, but I promise I will be helpful.
But yeah, absolutely. I
Um,
think that the whole point of like homebrewing is to get better at it. Like it's this hobby of like always improving.
And I always tell people the most important thing you can do is join a homebrew club, because when you're a homebrewer and you give people your homebrew beer, I mean, this was, I was homebrewing, God, now like over 10 years ago. And especially back then, before the big current craft beer boom.
What was homebrewing like in the 90s?
You know, it was just listening listening to Nine Inch Nails and No Doubt and
right.
making my...
You're going to get what you deserve.
Going down to
Bow
the
down.
Blockbuster Video to get some movies to watch while you
Yeah.
homebrew.
I listen to that now when I homebrew. Like, I mean,
You listen to Blockbuster Video?
no, Nine Inch Nails and No Doubt and Blink-182.
That's funny. My first blog ever was 9-inch Nagel. So .com. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That does not... Yeah, that's the title of a movie.
Fucking newbie nudes.
It's my travel blog back in the day.
Search for 9-inch Nagel on cam4.com.
I had my own domain, dude. I'm not at some like blogspot whatever farts.com.
But then when I'd have a homebrew that was like genuinely good, I was like so happy and so excited, and that's how this beer makes me feel. Like I'm just like
This
it
dude
makes
has
me
achieved.
it makes me really happy
Yeah.
that this is like a really nice beer and
For
it
sure.
tastes good and I want to drink it. You know, it's good. Good work.
This could easily.
Who made
like,
this? What was
Adam
this?
Crum.
Adam, great job.
Yeah, for sure.
Now it's Kyle's beers. So on the other hand,
We've had Kyle's beer
Kyle's
on the
been
show
so nice
before,
to
I
us that I
believe.
just
Yeah,
take
we've
a
had his
shot.
beer.
And they're pretty tasty. So
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
He's
time,
like the
time will fucking tell on that.
But Adam Crum, good job, dude.
Yeah.
Like, this is great.
Keep
Thanks
it
for-
I'm gonna steal one of these bottles for
Yeah.
home.
I know how easy it is to go way overboard on the baking spices, and this is perfect.
Yeah, good job not putting lactose in
Yeah,
this.
a pinch of baking spice.
Take the lactose out of your beer. I'm intolerant of lactose in beer.
Not physically, but just like
Just-
on a
yeah.
moral basis.
Yeah, just,
I used lactose once in a homebrew, but it was a milk stout, and that's like you kind of have to. So
I mean,
I mean, you don't have to, but
Get
it's in the
out.
name.
the brewery,
Milk stout.
they just
Sweet.
came out with a beer. I did a video on YouTube. What's the name of that fucking beer? They did it with like some ice cream
It's
place.
the spoon.
Yeah,
beer.
hold the spoon.
Hold the spoon.
That's it. And they use lactose in
I
that.
know this. It's because
And
I watch your YouTubes.
Do you really? Wow,
Oh,
that's weird.
Naked.
Big fan. First time caller.
But that was just that could have been a great beer if they just didn't put lactose in it because it had way too much body and it was way too sweet.
Oh, remember the Girl Grey beer too that
Mhm.
they did with the chef? Oh man, yeah, just it was so much lactose.
I don't see anything good coming from beers with lactose in them. I feel like you could tweak the grain bill or tweak the recipe in a way to get like more sweetness and body without having to add milk sugar to
You
it.
mean
like
you
my-
mean brewing? You want people to brew?
Yes, I want
You, know,
people
you,
to-
want,
like my
you want
grandma.
people to brew the shit out of it? Is what you're trying to say?
My grandma always said, you know, why milk the stout when you can get the beer for free?
Are you going to do the full John Mulaney bit now?
Yeah.
do it. Go.
No, I'm all right.
We need more Matt Becker in this. On the
We need just
push
John
buttons.
Mulaney on the podcast.
Oh.
He doesn't drink.
That's true. Not anymore. Not since the incident.
Does anybody get the D?
No.
No,
We don't, Matt.
No,
It's
beer's
too
clean.
smooth. I'm like, at first I'm like, oh, it's a recording.
It seems like it was like wanted to touch him.
Ghost of
This is the
Brewers
D game.
Past.
This is like cheesy dong.
Kyle helped with that research
I wonder
too,
what
finding those
beer he
clips.
was talking about. Like, I wonder what the context of that was.
Oh God, I listened to the whole episode. Actually, it was one of our earlier episodes. I can't remember though. It was really good. I think Yvonne was on that show
Oh,
too,
yeah,
which
okay.
is weird to say because
Poor S. She's
she
done it
like
a couple times.
actively avoids us now when we do the podcast.
She's like, I'm going shopping.
Yeah,
Puts up a cross and
so
hisses.
it was a good show. We did some good shows back then. Back when we were homebrewing.
Back then, not like now.
I have to homebrew like in the next couple weekends, and I'm kind of like freaked out by it. I'm like, I gotta drag all my brew.
That's
shit
funny you
out.
say that because I thought about it. Like, I was trying to think of like what you call like carbonation level in beer, so it has certain what do they
Volumes
call
of
that?
CO2. Yeah.
And I had to
Bar,
Google
yeah.
it, and it was like I was like, of course it's volumes of CO2.
Yep.
And I was with Yvonne in the car, and I was thinking, I'm like, did I forget how to brew? Like, I'm trying to think of like, okay, no, okay, it was weird. I don't know. I know what you mean.
I'm gonna actually have to look at like what should I get my strike temp at. Like I had it like just dialed in where I just knew like here's my thing. I'm gonna set the temperature at 162 and
I was listening to experimental homebrewing, and whoever was on was talking about mash out temp, like raising the temperature for the mash out. And for a brief moment, I forgot what that was, and I was like, "Why? Oh my god, no! You want to stop like the
Stop
the enzymes from
enzymatic
converting and all that.
conversion,
That's why,
yeah.
and it was just like, I forgot how to homebrew. This is fucking weird.
Welcome to No Brewers. I'm your host.
Exactly.
One brewer, actually. Yeah.
More like 4 brewers. Roasted them.
So Kyle,
Kyle, you remember how to homebrew, right?
Um,
Let's find out.
yeah.
So I'm gonna
That's
crack.
what we need, John. The triple air horn.
So
Do we
John,
have
I'm
that?
gonna crack a saison here.
I did not download that one yet.
John,
All
he's
right.
cracking a saison here.
There we go. Pass it around. So good.
All right, Kyle, tell us a little about this saison.
All right. Well, first of all, I like how you're queuing up the diacetyl sound bites right before we're doing a homebrew.
Wow.
This does not have the D.
No
trust you, Kyle.
diacetyl.
Tastes like cheesy
Hey, Matt, does this have the D in it?
This is like cheesy dong.
Now the show's gonna like hit it big, and we're gonna have Robo-Matt there, and then it'll be like behind the 4 brewers. Robo-Matt suing us because he's not getting enough residuals for Robo-Matt.
So yeah, it has a little bit of a hazy sort of. You know, you can still see your finger behind it. Nice head, nice frothy. Got a lot of CO2 behind it for a saison. I would look, a lot of CO2 behind it.
I thought that was Robo-Matt still talking there.
Robo-Matt.
Yeah, this is pretty much a start to a saison I want to design as just a really solid base saison, and something that I could also maybe add fruit to later or throw in a barrel. And just first attempt at kind of honing in a recipe.
What's the gravity you used?
So we got-
give us those sweet details.
60% Belgian pale malt, 33% spelt, and 6.6% flaked rye.
What's the yeast in here?
I used the formerly Brettois, now Sactois.
Okay.
Interesting.
WLP 644.
Yeah, because I don't get
and
that.
what's
Like,
your fermentation schedule like?
I did pretty much 70 pitching, and then just let it rise to 74, and just pretty much 74 the whole time. Original gravity 1058. Sorry, no plateau here. Fight me. Final gravity was still a little bit higher than I wanted, but final gravity is 1012, so made it 6.1%.
do you think the spelt would do that? Leaving the long chain.
Honestly, don't know. I've never used this yeast before, so
So is this a bready strain?
It's a formerly thought as bready strain, but turns out not. Well,
It's more tropical, I would say.
Yeah, it's not. It's
Expressive.
not wild. It's non-bacterial.
Yeah.
It is sack.
Okay.
This beer's great, by the way. It's super clean. I don't know if I tasted it blind, if I would identify it as a saison.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would
it-
almost
it's
call it like a
Belgian
really
pale.
mainstreamed Belgian wit. But I would, again, this would be real nice in a can.
It's getting a lot of the kind of lightly funky estery Belgian character. But yeah, it's more in line with kind of the flavors. It's not as hoppy, but it reminds me of, like, again, a Belgian pale or Belgian IPA, where you kind of have that funky Belgo finish to stonify it.
I get a lot of like bread character from it.
yeah, I was
like,
gonna say I get a lot of cracker bread.
yeah.
Saltine cracker for
I don't.
sure.
I've never worked with that yeast, but I can assume like other Belgian yeasts, if you let it ferment at a higher temperature, you might get more esters out of it. And I think this could benefit from that because I feel like I want more on like the aroma. Mostly the flavor, I think it's nice and clean and good, but I feel like it needs more oomph, like to the overall character of the beer because.
Yeah.
It's like missing something, and I think
Well,
if you
yeah.
let it free rise even higher, I don't know. I mean, right now it's kind of cool, so you can't really do that.
Yeah, I'm thinking it should be drier too.
Yeah, I think it could be drier too. Yeah.
See, I'm on. I like it. I like how. I mean, it makes me feel like your process is really clean. And with a lot of homebrew, that's what I end up talking about. Is let's talk about controlling your fermentation schedule. Let's talk about your sanitizing process. And I just think this is, I would maybe let go the other way. I'd lean into it. Almost reminds me of like Belgian lagers a little bit in terms of, how clean it is. And maybe a real light, little Citra dry hop makes everything good.
I did Citra, not dry hopping, but 0.7 Citra at 30 minutes and an ounce of Citra for a 5-gallon batch for 10 minutes Whirlpool.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you, Jesse. I just think this is not what I would call a saison.
Agreed.
It's a good beer, and if you wanted to, if he made this beer and you're like, yes, I like this, let's make this again, you just call it something else.
Sure.
So for what it is, it's great. But if you want to
Belgian pale ale all the way.
yeah. For saison, no, I think it could be a little drier.
Yeah, I'm looking for those
fruitier.
fruity esters. I'm looking for that peppery sort of spice. I think having rye in here, a lot of people say rye has that like spicy character to it, but I get more of just like the brightiness out of it.
But why change it to be a saison? Lean into who this beer is now.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like he called it a saison, so I'm kind of judging it as a saison.
I'm liking the grain bill.
I'm fine without it.
So maybe just a different yeast also might do something, or just try hot fermentation. So maybe during the summer, just let it just be whatever temperature it is.
I agree with what Jesse's saying. Keep this recipe, keep your notes, and be aware of everything you did to make this beer what it is, but don't throw this out because it
needs minor tweaks.
What you wanted it to be. It's just something else, and you should still hang on to it.
If you want to hit that more
Motueka.
saison note, I would do saison DuPont strain and wrap it in a heating blanket and ferment it in the 90s.
That's such a pain in the ass yeast to work with, though. I've used it 3 or 4 times, and every time it stalls.
Yeah,
every
you have to
time.
open ferment it though. I think that it's really pressure sensitive. So if you just don't put a air thing on top,
Put it in your bathtub.
just put a rubber band over some foil or something.
That much pressure makes that much of a difference.
It'll drop out.
Yeah, the Ardennes strain could also be nice with this. That's sort of like a mushroomy earthiness. That can be really. That's the Le Chouffe strain.
I was also considering adding a pound of sugar in this to dry it out some more.
Yeah.
And I did do. I've never done a protein rest before, but I did a protein rest on this one, and only a 30-minute boil.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
With Pilsner, yeah. That's kind of ballsy. A lot of people go, you're going to
90.
get the...
Well, from what I keep hearing,
do 90%.
the quality
9
ingredients
minutes.
is so high, it's not really, probably not necessary anymore.
Well, you got to boil the Windsor homebrew shop out of it.
I mean, what's
Get that
nice,
Scott Windsor in there.
what I like about it is that you've got the basics really nicely dialed in, which gives you the ability then to kind of focus in on, those finer points. So you can change 1 or 2 things and really know what you're controlling instead of change 1 or 2 things and go, oh my God, it's a totally different beer. How did we get here? You got to understand the process so that as you change things, you understand what you're controlling in the other places.
Yeah, it's hard not to change 2 or 3 things at a time because then I don't know what did what.
And if you're going to rebrew the recipe over and over, I think Saison is the perfect one, especially in Southern California where we do have higher temps and stuff like that. You can let that be your one thing that this is my summer Saison, this is my winter Saison, and they may be totally different just because that's how warm it was or cold outside.
Yeah, and I definitely want to use probably a recipe like this or whatever the final recipe for this is and start putting it in a barrel and putting some bugs in there.
Some of them barrel
nice.
bugs.
On a more
good little
general level, I think the balance between the bitterness and the body and everything else is really good. I think the bitterness is perfect on this. It's got just enough to so you can taste it, but it's not overwhelming and it's not too sweet too. So I think for what this beer is, it's really, really good. You did a good job.
And the other option you have, if you're doing this base, is something I do a lot on the homebrew level. Is hey, you have one fermenter for just a plain beer, and then you can dry hop the other fermenter, and then you can have 2 totally different beers on tap, and kind of have a little bit different things that you can taste around. It's all good.
Next, we have the strawberry lactose variant on this beer.
Did you bring
It's
any
a good base
lactose
beer,
beers?
is what I'm saying.
No.
Oh, good.
Nice work.
What else we got?
The Irish Red and the Growler.
Oh, the PET bottle.
Kyle's Irish Red.
Oh, it's Kyle.
Oh, a little bit wee.
Hoy.
Irish Red was the first beer I ever homebrewed. It was a disaster.
I was going to make a joke, but I'm not going to make a joke.
All right, here we go.
What's the first beer I brewed? A stout, I think. The one we did with Steve that he forgot about. The
I did a
fermenter
hef.
was under his desk for 9 months.
My first beer was a hef.
I was doing Irish Red, and it was a partial mash, so we had a grain bag, and we scorched the grain bag on the bottom of with the fire on.
What's this
So
plastic?
it tore open the entire grain bag. So we had to then strain it back out, which was okay. It did taste a little burny. And then
Sanders.
I didn't properly distribute the priming sugar. So half was flat and half was a little explodey. But there was like 2 or 3 bottles in the middle of the run there. That got that carbonation just right.
That's fun. Homebrewing woes, man. Like
Burn the Grain Bag is my
still to
favorite 80s new wave song.
every time I homebrew, there's like something that breaks, and it's like me trying to fix it to like
Yeah.
just finish the brew day.
Burn the Grain Bag.
So this is a recipe I've had around for probably 4 or 5 years. It's originally an attempt to brew Taps Irish Red, which is probably my favorite Irish Red.
Things won some medals.
I've got
Suck it, Riley's.
way too many different malts in this, so I think this recipe is ready to grow up.
Hey, what do you think Matt thinks of Taps Irish Red?
He probably likes it. He did. Oh.
Does anybody get the D?
Or no, I'm sorry. Okay. I am so bad at this.
You should give it
This
to me.
is
Let me
like-
do it.
Cheesy dong.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm the one guy without a screen in front of me, so
If you want, I'll give you the controls to
yeah,
do it.
for sure.
Okay, I'll
get some
set it up
drops in.
for you.
We're going to go full morning zoo. With
No, we
Greg.
just want Matt Becker and
Robo Matt.
Robo Matt.
This has a malt note that reminds me of like if you've had like Korean barley tea. It kind of has that kind of note to it, like a real nice nuttiness.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
it's-
Barley tea.
It's great.
That's a good
super
call.
tasty.
This one clocks in at 5.5%. Final gravity 1010. Too many malts in this one. Got Maris Otter, mostly Maris Otter, some Munich, even less Crystal 15, and a little bit of flaked barley, Crystal 60, chocolate malt, and roasted barley.
So when I hear Irish Red, I'm immediately afraid it's going to be on the caramelly side, and you managed to avoid that in this, which I like. It's got a decent malt character, but there is enough of a hot bite that it does come out
Cleans it
fairly
up.
balanced, where it's not just a malt bomb on the palate, right?
Yeah, and I noticed this Irish ale yeast seems to give a lot of yeast character, which I'm kind of, at this point, I think I'm over the Irish ale yeast. I think next time I'm going to pull way back on the dark malts, light it up, maybe just throw some red X in there just for the red color, and just probably just use Safale 5 or California 001 for this. I'm pretty sure Taps probably doesn't use Irish ale yeast.
I've seen the recipe back in the day, and it's way less complicated than
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I think it's just Maris Otter and like 2-row, and then they're using some sort of like British hop, like Tetnang or something. Not Tetnang, but what do you call it? What's the British hop? The
Hallertau?
Hallertau. Or no,
That's German.
That's German
Nugget,
as well.
Fuggles,
Fuggles.
The one that's the 3-letter acronym.
East
Kent-
Kent Golding.
Yeah,
Kent
EKG.
Golding.
EKG.
Sorry. So it's like EKG, and then I think there's just Cal Ale too. It's super simple.
Yeah, this is probably one of my first recipes I designed when I started all grain.
I have a similar note to this as I did the Saison, which is I don't feel like it really reads as the style you're giving it, but it's super clean and super drinkable and really nice beer.
Yeah, I
It's
think
almost like a very light brown, or like a nut brown, kind of dialed back a little bit.
I do get some Irish red character out of there. Just mainly on the finish. There's like a
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a little bit floral, I
Yeah.
would say.
I think Red X in here would be really nice too.
For sure.
It's
That's a really good
And
malt.
Maris Otter is great in everything.
Would you,
Oh,
put,
hell
would you
yes.
put any special B in it? Like Matt would.
nah.
Matt won a medal for his red.
It won 2
Yeah.
so far, yeah.
Yeah, one with him brewing it and one with somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm thinking just simplifying. Yeah, just go 2 malts. Usually I just use whatever random hop just for bittering.
Yeah, it would be cool if you can just simplify it for the sake of simplifying it, you know, so you're not putting everything in the kitchen sink in there.
There's El Dorado hops in this for bittering
wow.
because that's what I had.
I like El Dorado a lot.
I like the Road to El Dorado.
The one thing about an Irish red, though, is it's meant to be like drank in like 19.2 ounce glasses, and several of them over a course of an evening, listening to like loud music. And
Oh, if you want a proper Irish pint, it's actually
shepherd's
19.2
pie.
ounces.
yeah,
Yeah, I think this is way too malty.
The word
for-
pint means
this is-
nothing.
This is a winter Irish red.
It's really good, though. I like it.
I think it's tasty.
I think I only use Irish ale yeast because said Irish on the label.
I wish you would have done something else.
I wish I was a baller.
God damn it.
Nailed it. Jason's back, guys.
So you're 2 for 2, Kyle. What's next? It was good beer.
Oatmeal stout.
John likes himself some oatmeal. Is that the one with the O on it?
Oh.
O'Reilly's Irish Stout. Boom.
It's actually a 0. I spell everything elite.
Greg managed to bottle open his cap right into his glass.
Good Foley work right there.
An impressive feat that I don't know that I've actually seen someone ever do.
Never done that.
All right, tell us about this
weird
beer.
opener.
All right, this one, I was talking to somebody at a bottle share and found out he used to homebrew. And he had all his notes are just handwritten, which I don't envy.
So I imagine
cherry
you
wood
killed
smoke malt in
him,
here?
assumed his identity, and took his homebrew for your own.
Is there smoke malt in this?
No.
Really? I get that too.
Like cherry wood smoke malt.
Yeah, in a nice way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like
Are
it.
you sure? Somebody at the homebrew shop like accidentally put this malt, some smoke malt in there.
Cherrywood smoke malt. Cherrywood smoke malt.
I totally get like 3-4% smoked malt.
Yeah,
in this.
there's just a kiss of it.
Yeah, I get it too.
Oh, we think you should put some
Okay.
smoke. This is a great Rausch beer, and I mean
So
that's almost the only malt note I really get out of it too. Like there isn't a lot of kind of chocolate or roast character coming
Yeah,
through.
I wonder if
What's
it's
your malts?
I wonder if it's the English ale yeast that's coming out.
Yeah, I'm getting almost kind of a barbecue chip on the nose.
Mhm.
Malts, I pretty much looked at his notes and he picked out a recipe and I adapted one of his original recipes. So we got grain percentage, so 64% two-row, 18% flaked oats, 5% each flaked barley and chocolate malt, and 2% roasted barley.
Huh. The roasted barley, maybe it's giving off the
Maybe.
vibe.
English ale yeast, Willamette bittering hops. Original gravity 1058, final 1020. I think this like kind of stalled out for whatever reason. So 5% ABV.
Yeah, that smoke malt character is just the one thing. It's like smoked. It's like sort of like burnt,
fruity.
Burnt marshmallow a little bit.
I think the higher finishing gravity isn't necessarily a problem with this. It kind of, I think it's actually a good thing because it gives it more body and more sweetness. Makes it a little more interesting.
There's kind of a bitter dark chocolate finish to it. When you on the palate, it's kind of like that baking chocolate.
Yeah, like Dutch chocolate kind of flavor.
Yeah, I don't think it really did anything, but we were going to call it oatmeal cookie stout. And he did make oatmeal cookies with just like no baking spices in them. We just crumbled them in the boil.
Oh.
But I honestly don't think it really did anything at all.
I feel like if you're going for oatmeal cookie, a lot more vanilla I'd want out of it.
Raisins.
There's no raisins.
Raisins, yeah. Torch some raisins in there.
Raisins like you're carrying with potato salad at the picnic.
I mean, the beer is real clean, real quaffable, but I feel like you can kind of bump the flavor.
Would you say it's shockingly quaffable?
Shockingly.
No, I would say it's expectedly quaffable based on our earlier samples.
I'm digging it.
Yeah, it's a
this
nice-
is good oatmeal stout. Like, and if you told me this was a Rauch beer, I'd be like, yeah, it's pretty good.
I'm used to having more to complain about with homebrew.
Yeah, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The smoke
Kyle's like,
character
You're-
that's coming through, I don't think was intentional.
No.
And I don't think fits with the dessert theme you're trying to go for.
But zero off flavors at
yeah.
all. Totally clean as a whistle. That has been cleaned.
That's it. Yeah. The whistle from a unused.
Just not a, I mean, a generic
referee.
whistle feels like it wouldn't be very clean. Certainly not brewing clean. Not CIP this whistle.
Peter whistle. Clean
I
this in
wonder
place.
if people who use whistles on a regular basis clean their whistles.
I would hope
You
so.
have to,
God, I
right?
hope so, yeah.
They gotta have like a spit valve or something.
Disgusting.
If you go to old school barber, they have the combs sitting in that liquid.
Yeah. The
I think that-
what is it? Barbasol or
Bar-
It's just
Barbasol.
water with a drop of blue food coloring. But yeah.
I brew in a whistle. It's about a half ounce at a time. Real small batch stuff.
Whistle batch brews.
So weird note on this. This was a 10-gallon batch, and I can brew 10 gallons, and I have 2 different fermenters. So
Big whistle.
A lot of times I would maybe use 2 different yeast or just do something with it. This one, it was the Irish shell yeast on the other batch, and that thing really stalled out, and it just did not taste good.
So what you're saying is the Irish are lazy.
He almost fell for it.
Nope.
Almost fell for it.
Yep.
I didn't say that.
We can fix that in post.
Could
I'm
you
leaving
make this
that pause.
podcast less racist in post, please?
Can you edit out
the racism?
I should have just reached
Just the
over and
intro
just
music.
pressed it in.
Matt Becker outro music.
4 Brewers editing out the racism since 2010.
Dang.
Really good though, man. This
Yeah,
is
nice beer.
impressive. I like it. If I made these beers, I'd be proud to share them. They're good.
What's next on your brewery list? What are you going to be making?
Well, I just did a hazy IPA, which isn't ready yet.
Around here we say hazy IPA-zy.
Hazy. No, you don't.
How often do you brew?
Probably about once a month territory.
Okay.
And I was doing 10-gallon batches, and I decided just to switch back to 5 and try to shorten my brew day and try to really hone in some recipes.
I mean, one thing I would, you might consider is just if you're brewing, you need to be a little more regular than that, but you are running, first gen yeast on everything then, you might want to just try running like Cal Ale or something kind of neutral and then run that yeast for a couple generations. That wouldn't work for your Saisons, but everything else we've tried, you're not doing a lot of super yeast forward kind of beers. You could probably benefit from better fermentation that way too.
That's tough as a homebrewer, I think, using or cropping your yeast and reusing it and stuff. That's like a whole nother ball game.
Really? Just
On a homebrew level?
Yeah, if you're using a 5-gallon spigot bucket, just leave the trub and pour on top.
Yeah, that freaks me out.
Why?
I don't know.
It's easy.
Well, I know it's
even
easy.
less work than pitching yeast.
I know, but
The yeast
it
is
just
already
seems
there.
like I've met some homebrewers that do that, and all their beer is gross.
Really?
Yeah. And
Get a conical, man.
You should hang out with better homebrewers.
one of them has a conical, and he does
Oh,
that.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't do it forever,
He
but
went
like
through-
4 generations, you should be getting better results.
That's
that
what
way.
I'm saying.
Yeah. You
Do
just
you
sort of
just-
work your way up the line.
So I was thinking of like doing yeast washing and sort of
No,
like
no, no, no.
re-propping and
No, just, do a light beer, then a dark, work your way, higher ABV as you go, but just leave the trub in the bottom, dump your fresh wort on top. That thing will be fermenting an hour or 2 later.
Oh, okay. I'll just try that. You
Yeah.
know, I'm going to get on that. I need to brew more. God damn it.
Yeah.
We all do.
My
We need to
garage
do
is
a group
mess.
brew day or something.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I'm going to put my. I'll do a brew in the bag.
I'll go to one
which-
of your guys' houses.
All right.
Let's do it over here. Or your
I'll bring
house might
my-
be more fun.
I'm going to bring
I
my
don't know.
brewery over here, and then we'll do it here.
For a podcast called 4 Brewers, I thought you guys would brew more.
We
Yeah.
said former
I,
brewers.
I make more wine and cider than I do beer just because put it in a bucket, put yeast in it. Yeah. it's
Wow,
so much
pretty
easier.
good humble bracket.
Humble bracket.
Put it in a bucket.
Just put it in
yeast
a bucket. Motherfuck it.
So is that it, Kyle? 3 beers?
That's it. Till next time.
Do we have any bathtub cool shit beers from Greg?
No.
All right.
I mean, that would be amazing. Bathtub Cool Ship.
Bathtub cool
That'd be
shit.
a good name for a professional brewery. Bathtub Cool Ship.
I feel like it's probably gotten better these days, but I know when I started homebrewing, everyone would be like, well, like in your bathtub?
Yeah.
Like you make it in
Yeah.
your bathtub?
Yep. Thanks, Meg Gill. Making fun of homebrewers and then start a homebrew show.
Yeah, we haven't done a homebrew show in a while, and I think, it was awesome that every single beer we had was really good.
It helps.
That was awesome.
To a point where we didn't have to like fake our way through it and just try not to hurt someone's feelings. They were all really good. So
Yeah,
I
same
got,
with
you want-
Adam.
we got
Kyle.
time for one more beer?
I think we do. We're at 40 minutes. Yeah, I think we got some time.
You want to do the other homebrew I brought?
Fuck
Sure,
yeah.
that kind of fits in
That
well.
fits
Yeah,
in
I got a
theme.
homebrew. Let's do a homebrew.
Where is
Let's-
it?
By
let's-
God, that's
I think it's
Stone Cold Steve Austin's music.
I think it's in the fridge over there.
I totally forgot about that.
Y'all
gonna-
want a
that
beer
works very well.
I'm gonna
brewed by the
ruin-
Texas rattlesnake?
It's the bomber. Says No, I think it's on the shelf behind the Dre Fontaine on the left.
No, the brown bomber with the gold cap.
Yeah, that's the one. It does have Gusher written all over it. So
it's the barley wine.
this is a barley wine. I did not brew this. I just packaged it. This was a collaborative barley wine from my homebrew club in San Francisco. So this was probably brewed in 2007, 2008.
Is that club still around?
No.
Okay.
It died. They made me president, and now it's not around anymore.
Sounds like the United States.
But thanks. No collusion. So this was collaborative homebrew brewed by the club. The club was called Bay Area Brew Crew, Bay ABC. I met my business partner at Almanac, Damien, in that homebrew club. Tim Clifford from Sante Adarius was in the club, as well as Mike Mraz from
Seems
Mraz
like
Brewing too.
Yeah, a lot of success coming out of that homebrew club.
Wow.
That's why it had to die. And I am actually a little scared it's going to gush, so we'll see what happens here.
Well,
It was like
this
the,
was
put your hand over the
Gilman,
top.
the Gilman in Berkeley, right? It's like that. For,
so
for
this
beer.
was and this was aged in a bourbon barrel
Oh, so
for
it's-
like a year, and then I was given a couple gallons of it and packaged it up. So
So if it does gush, push your finger in the top.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
a pro
we'll
tip
see.
there.
just that it'll blast straight
Yep.
to the ceiling.
Yep. No,
Nope.
that was a nice hiss
it
there,
is
but
carbonated though.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Well, could also be a bad thing.
I'm excited.
No, because I remember at the time there was concern about it having that it might be too high in alcohol to carbonate.
Turns out in just 8 short years, it's
Got a lot of carbonation.
Does not smell
Scares
good.
me. It smells like Brett.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to have ended the streak of awesome homebrew.
It said it smelled like beer, Greg.
Yeah, it's
It
pretty.
smells
It's,
like Brett.
it's pretty oxidized. Well, we tried.
I don't think it's oxidized. I don't get
How
like
about
the
Brett?
It smells like
I don't
yogurt.
get wet. Yeah, it's definitely got some like
This looks infected.
yeah.
I mean-
it's got that
I agree.
2 fingers of infected head.
Well, we tried.
It does kind of smell like Chobani.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you get kind of a yeah, it's
Yeah,
infected.
10 years ago, this was a really nice beer. Though, you
Like
guys.
a sour, like
Just
a
missed
sour
it.
cherry
Yeah.
nose.
Yeah,
You guys like dark sour beers.
Yeah.
that's kind of what
Yeah,
it's
that's what
coming
it
off
is now.
like.
That's
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, this has notes of like certain Shelton Brother beers.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I'm kind of ready to pull the trigger on a bourbon barrel, but this kind of stuff scares me.
Well, it is 10 years old. So.
yeah, I think in a homebrew level though, like I've dabbled in some whiskey barrel aging with ciders and stuff like that with a 10-gallon barrel, and you only need like a month, maybe 2 months on it.
I did
To be fair,
It's a lot of wood to oak to beer ratio.
Yeah, it's really high concentrate.
I did one barrel aged beer. I bought a 5-gallon used barrel from that's some company that makes whiskey in Texas or something.
Balcones,
Yep,
probably.
same.
Yeah, that's it. And I had my beer in there for a week, and that's all it took.
Yep.
Like, and it was a brown ale. It turned out pretty good. Like, I liked it.
To be fair to this beer, it seems like the infection fought off the oxidation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It ate it all up. Yeah. But yeah, it's like super, super dry, super thin. Like,
A little bit tart.
No notes of a barley wine in there. Like,
No, none. No.
it's-
Totally eaten out completely. Come on.
come on now.
Oh my god, Jason's the one who broke there. Nothing.
That's it. I'm not retweeting you guys.
Oh my god, please. That's
We won't get the Kyle.
note the
retreat.
time. Note the time in the soundbite for that one.
I will not have my brand treated this way.
I can make that a drop.
Yeah, that's a sick drop.
Tune in next week for the rest of my beers, which will hopefully be better than this one.
Yes.
They will be.
In your defense, the beers you made commercially were really good.
Oh, thank you.
I mean,
Same pod time, same pod channel.
all right, Kyle. Thanks for the awesome homebrew, and thanks to oh God, what was his name?
Adam Crum.
Adam Crum
I'm
for
Crum.
the braggot, and to Jesse for the shitty barley wine. If you want to find us online, you can find us at forbrewers.com. We have all of our links to everything there. If you want to give us your money, you can go to supporttheshitoutofit.com or patreon.com/forbrewers.
Give us money.
We really appreciate that. Follow us on Twitter at 4Brewers Show and on Instagram at 4Brewers. We're doing some more IGTV stuff there. Well, I am anyway. So if you like watching me, you can watch even more of me on Instagram. Leave us a review on iTunes. It really does help us in the rankings and with the show in general. And favorite us in your podcast app of choice. So if you use like Overcast, give us a star, which I don't think you can give us a star in Overcast because I have a link to Patreon in Overcast, so he gets rid of the star. Why does Marco do that? Like, you can star a podcast, but if they put an option to support the show, he replaces the star with a link to whatever website you're linking, to your support for, and you can't star the podcast.
Yeah, I think the star goes into uses the recommended engine that's linked to your Twitter.
Okay,
account.
but why can't I have both? If I don't know, it's a weird thing.
I don't work at Overcast. I'm just a fan.
I don't know why I did that. Anyway, yeah, and if you want to send us feedback, you can send an email to feedback@4brewers.com and brew the shit out of it.